I think as we got folks joining us, we have well over 200 people on the line with many more joining, Pat and John. But I think for the sake of everyone's time, we gave everybody a few-minute warning to get going. So I think now would be a good time to get started. We're up to about 250 or so and approaching 3 by the end of this meeting, I'm sure.
Pat, you want to kick it off?
Yes, sir. So we'll go ahead and get started tonight. Looks like we've got a little over, well, getting right at 225 people on board tonight. That is by far the largest crowd that we've ever had on a Zoom meeting so far. I'm Pat Hargadon, your council commissioner, and I want to welcome you this evening. And John, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is John Fisher. I've met many of you, but some I may not have. I get the honor of filling the role of VP of District Operations on the council board this year.
And as with any scout meeting or scout event, a scout is reverent. So we're going to turn it over to Paul Frederick, who is a council board member and is also our religious relationships chair, for an opening prayer. Paul?
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this time in which we gather for this important meeting to put the outing back in scouting and to look at the plans and to look at the options we have to reignite the excitement for scouting in our units, in our districts, in our council, in our camping program. We thank you for our leadership of all the units and of our district executives, as well as our council leadership. Continue to guide us and lead us in a good program to help reach youth and family. For all this we ask in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Jason, looks like you're up next.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I want to say thanks for doing what you do and doing it so well during these crazy times. I'm an assistant scout leader in my son's troop, Troop 28, and we've done Zoom calls and online sessions on everything from knot tying to lighting a stove. It's kind of frustrating, lighting a stove when you know you can't cook on it just yet, at least not as a group. So that's what tonight's all about. This plan in this meeting is appropriately named, putting the outing back in scouting. No kid joins the Boy Scouts to have their character developed. They want to get out in the woods. They want to be with their buddies. They want to be in the pack, the den, and have a good time. And so we've been working really hard over the last couple of months to put together a phased process and hopefully communicate well to the to our volunteers. And thank you for your patience, because it's not always been easy. The information's been ever changing. We put together a fantastic committee, a health advisory committee that really did a fantastic job kind of guiding us and giving a lot of the input that you're gonna see tonight. But there's no manual, there's no handbook for any of this. Our goal, and it'll continue to be our goal, is to keep kids safe. That's got to be priority one. I know that's your priority in your local program there. We've pivoted again. The name of the game these days is being nimble, and you'll see in the presentation tonight, hopefully that ability to pivot and be nimble as we adapt and get new information. The call is going to be a little different than most of the Zoom calls you've been on, or even I've been on, because we're going to have somewhere close to maybe even 300 people. So not a lot of opportunity for a two-way conversation, other than please use the chat or the Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen to ask questions. We may not answer it right away because we know that in the script, if you will, there's answers coming to your questions, but we will stop at a couple of key points and answer all of those questions. And if we don't get your questions answered, you can certainly follow up. This information will be forwarded out to everybody tomorrow, so you'll have it for for your information and to share as you see fit. So again, I want to thank everybody for all you all you do for scouting. I look forward to seeing kids out in the woods. I look forward to seeing pictures on Facebook of kids doing what they signed up in scouting to do, which is leave the couch, go with their buddies, and do really cool stuff. So thanks for helping make that happen. And again, thank you for your patience as we've worked really hard to navigate and communicate during this time. So with that, Pat and John, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Jason. I think I get to go first on the program tonight. I tell you, it's a lot of fun tag teaming with John on these meetings. We've had a lot of fun doing these the last couple months. First thing we will remind everybody is keep safety first. And I know you hear that all the time. You don't hear it enough, but especially right now, we got to remember that we are taking care of somebody's kids. The most valuable and precious thing in their life is their kids. And it's our responsibility that when we conduct any activities, we always put the scouting safety should remain their #1 priority. And I can't stress that enough. I know all of you all know that, but we've got to continue to talk about it. We open the meeting with the scout is reverent. Well, we also need to remember a scout is trustworthy and obedient. So we're going to count on everybody to follow those guidelines that have been set up by the council, by the CDC, by the governors in Kentucky and Indiana and Tennessee, or wherever we do business. We have to follow those guidelines. And there is no gray area. We've got to follow those. So, you know, we know we're always going to be trustworthy and obedient, so we don't need to beat on that too much. So I'll go ahead and move on. We're asking you to help to continue to follow all the scouting guidelines, just like we said, guide to safe scouting. Sorry, I did mess up a little bit there. And age-appropriate activities. Continually monitor and follow those state and local CDC guidelines. We just talked about that a minute ago. We cannot venture from those rules. We also need to follow the Lincoln Heritage Council progression plan, steps regarding meetings and activities. Jason did a really good job of putting a health committee together, and it had some of the best people in their fields that developed these plans. We've got to stick with them. And I get to turn it over to John now.
Well, Pat, you're right. This has been a fun road show, but this is the biggest one yet. So continuing on with the theme of trustworthy and obedient, you'll see in the PowerPoint that, there's a LHC, a Lincoln Heritage Council progression plan. You must follow the progression plan. Steps, and I'm talking about regarding your meetings and your activities. Your chartered organization, very, very important. If you're thinking about doing an activity, a unit meeting, a camping activity, anything at all that involves the function of your unit, really, you need to make sure that you're getting the okie dokie, the absolute approval of your charter organization. So if that's a church or some other group, you need to check in and say, hey, we're following the LHC rules, we're following the CDC and the state rules, et cetera, but we need to check in with you. You have the final authority. Can we do this thing that we're contemplating? A unit meeting, a camping trip, whatever it happens to be. So just as Pat said, obedient and trustworthy, we are expecting you to do that in this case as well.
Yeah, and and that leads into the actual plan of bringing back scouting or the outing into scouting, and really let's try to get out of the virtual Zoom world and into the outdoor world and meeting world. And today, step one, as many of you have seen some of these dates, we were able to reopen our Scout Service Center. Following all the guidelines, we're checking our temperatures coming into the door, and we're back into business at the Sam Swope Scout Service Center. And then I was going to kick it over to Brian to talk about the Scout shops, and we're excited to have them back open for business. So Brian, I know you're on tap to talk about the Scout shop.
Sure. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brian Weigel. I am the Business and Properties Manager on the council staff. And part of my responsibility is to help work with the Scout shops, both the national Scout shops, which are in Louisville and Jeffersonville, and then the council-managed Scout shops, which are in Bowling Green and Paducah. The Louisville and Jeffersonville Scout shops will both open tomorrow. They look forward to seeing bright, shiny faces, most with masks on them, please. They will run hours from Tuesday to Friday, starting at 10 a.m. and closing at 6 p.m. A little different than they've normally had hours. They will both close at lunchtime, starting at 1:30 to 2 o'clock. And the reason being is that only the Scout Shop managers in Louisville and Jeffersonville have been able to return at this point, and they need to have that break to have their lunch. So please make sure that you're aware of the hours. They will also be open on Saturdays from 10 to 2. There won't be a lunch break in there. Note that they will be closed, always closed on Sunday, but now they're going to be closed on Mondays, and that's something new. We hope that that's temporary, but for now, you will see the hours. That's in Louisville and Jeffersonville. In Paducah and Bowling Green, those two Scout Shops are also going to open beginning tomorrow. Actually, Bowling Green opens on June the 6th, which is Saturday. But Paducah will be open beginning tomorrow, and they will be open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 10 to 2. They will have a different situation for lunch breaks, and we'll be doing quite a bit of curbside service. So what we ask you to do is to contact the local Scout Shops, and particularly if you have a unit advancement order to place, if you will go online, we'll have a link posted on the website that will allow you to place that order online, send it to the respective Scout Shop, and they will then be able to fill that in advance of you picking up and make that a much quicker process for both you and the Scout Shop personnel. So we look forward to having that posted out on the Facebook pages as well. So the Scout Shops are ready for business.
Outstanding. And Brian, I appreciate you introducing yourself. And for those of you that I assumed, without even introducing myself, maybe I've talked to many of you, but I'm David Sykes. I'm the Director of Field Service, Chief of Operations for the Lincoln Heritage Council, and appreciate all of you joining us tonight. We're here, and my role is to support you and all your executives and everything you do. I am going to pause just a minute in our program just to see. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead because we're going to have some more questions. John, why don't we jump into step 2 of the progression plan?
So we were talking about this progression plan. Brian just went through step 1. I've got the opportunity to talk to you about step 2. I may have previewed a little bit or foreshadowed some of what we're going to be talking about in this slide. You can read it before you right now. I'm in nature for a reason. Available on June 15th, and not because it's my wedding anniversary. The Cub Adventure Summer program is available. On June 15th, you can camp as individuals, units, dens, patrols on weekly meetings, day outings, and camping. Just in, that's just in, as a unit, as of June 15th. And of course, as you may have heard before, certainly you're hearing it now, as individual scouting families, you can camp as well on June 15th. And now I also want to emphasize, in addition to all the guidelines that you've heard us talk about repetitively already, and you're going to hear us talk about it some more, CDC, state, the health committee, et cetera, et cetera. I want you to hear that we are, hey, Kit Kat, I want you to hear that, that although it's not required, we strongly encourage you, if you're going to do a day outing or an overnight camping trip as a unit or as a scouting family, to utilize our scouting properties. You're not going to find a place that's more secure and theoretically cleaner and safer in all respects for you as a family, a scouting family, or as a unit, either in a day trip or in a camping overnight. I'm so excited to be outside. Just to tell you that you can go outside again. June 15th, that's only 2 weeks away. David?
No, and John, I appreciate you. For those of you that read the previous communications that went out, obviously step 2 has been updated for several reasons, but I'm going to address a question that many of you have had and have posed to us that I just want to kind of explain the rationale of our June 15th date a little bit. We serve in the Lincoln Heritage Council 64 counties, and we touch 4 different states. You know, we serve annually 20,000 youth and young people, and you throw in another 4,000 volunteers, we have a big program to manage and really not only manage, but to make sure we're doing it in a safe way. We had a date out there of June 1 that we needed to respond to. And I believe we have, and we thoughtfully put together a committee to respond to that. But we wanted to give y'all enough leadway as unit leaders. What it ultimately boiled down to is give you enough leadway as unit leaders collectively as a council to work and communicate with your chartered partner to gain that approval that John talked about, and make sure that you have that true partnership and support system there for everything you're doing. And then also make sure that you as leaders are strategically putting the pieces and materials in place and strategy in place to meet all of the necessary guidelines and restrictions that you're going to encounter in planning these activities and things of that nature. We weren't trying to race against any particular state's timeline, you know, hey, this park's opening or this park's opening. What we're trying to do and be judged against are we making sound decisions to keep everyone safe. And I hopefully, if you're going to judge us on that standard, everybody could get behind it and say, you know what, they're being thoughtful and how they're addressing this. As you can see, next up, you know, coming up on our agenda, we're going to get into the more program stuff and highlight the fun stuff. Sarah's on tap. She's always great at doing that. But I am going to pause. Sarah, I know you were helping monitor the Q&A. Are you seeing anything out there as a group that we could collectively address right now?
A couple of questions is, this PowerPoint will be available after the presentation is over.
Yes.
So just check the council website for that. There's been a couple of questions, Dave or Brian.
I'll email it out. I have everybody that registered for this. We'll email it out directly to everybody that registered for this webinar.
Yep, a couple of questions that I commented we would answer live is, can troops use the camp properties? Brian, I think you were addressing that in your next step, but that is coming, Brian. And then is this only for small units or is this only for BSA properties? So does the size of the unit matter on this stuff?
That's a wonderful question. We've had that on a few other types of meetings. You must meet the guidelines. So if you're in an area where it's saying no more than 10 can meet, that's why we put individual unit, den, and patrols, because we have units that are 7, 8 kids, the size of a den or a patrol. We've had the question or comment say, well, if they're not allowing more than 25 and we have a 50 kid unit, can we separate into 2 segments and just do 2 different outings, but we're all kind of going to the same place? As long as y'all don't join together and you're meeting requirements, you just have to figure those and meet those guidelines out based on the restrictions. So to answer that question, a lot of words, Sarah, but you got to meet the guidelines and based on where you're at. So.
Yeah, thank you.
The state that you're in is important.
Yep.
Brian, this one's for you. What facilities will be open, such as restrooms, buildings, etc., on the property?
All 3 of the camp properties are going to be open. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. The camp shower facilities will be open. They will be reserved by campsites, so there will be a system in place to allow for less contact between units. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
The rest of these questions on the Q&A are geared towards Brian's unit camping information. We've got a couple of Zoom chats.
Why don't we cover the program stuff and see what we didn't answer after that?
Yep. There's a few things here about masks, so we'll get to those too.
All right. So we'll move on. John, I appreciate it covering step 2. Pat, I think we had you down for step 3.
Sure did. And step 3 is going to be August 1st, council and district in-person meetings and trainings. We need to talk about that. And then moving into the fall, the details kind of still to be determined. You know, one of the things that's really neat is I think we've learned, we've been forced to learn that Zoom meetings can be a really effective way of conducting scout business. We've got 240 plus people on here right now. I don't know that I've been to very many scout meetings where we can disseminate this much information to scout leaders in such a efficient and good way. And we're covering every portion of the council. they're from one end to the other. We're getting everybody. So we're going to encourage people to continue to use Zoom, continue to use social media, and to avoid as much as possible the in-person meetings, at least for now. We've got huge numbers that we're using to engage people. And I think scouting, just like business, is going to learn that this is going to be a new way of living. Even after this thing's over, we're going to start doing more and more of this. And so far, and I'm old school, I have to say it's a pretty efficient way of doing business. David, what am I missing? Anything?
No, we do have, not to alarm any of our council folks that might be on the line, seeing, hey, we have, I'll just go ahead and name them since we're doing good on time. We have Flagey Trail that is typically scheduled and still is scheduled for August, as well as Shoot-a-Palooza. And I know we got some of our shooting sports folks that are on the phone tonight. We're still planning those activities. Just because we didn't list those dates that are in August, it doesn't mean, oh boy, they're in flux. It's just, we didn't want to list out every singular activity for the fall, because if something does have to change, it's still to be determined in many ways, but the plan is still a go for all of those, and just wanted to make note of that, Pat.
Thank you, David.
I think we're going to kick it to the fun. Let me introduce you to the best camping director in the BSA, Miss Sarah Flowers. She has worn every hat that you can imagine in the course of the last 2 months and struggled with all things camp, and now no camp, and now exciting other stuff and other camps, and still trying to teach kids on the computer and be a Cub master and all that other stuff. And Sarah, I admire you for all the work you do, and it's your show now.
Fantastic. Brian or Dave, if one of you maybe want to take over the chat and the Q&A questions while I run my part, that would be great.
Brian, I might need your help because I'm sharing my screen.
If you'll go to the next one. So we're very excited to be able to offer our Cub Scout Adventure boxes. We've partnered with the Crossroads of America Council to be able to provide these for you guys. And we're very excited about this opportunity and what we have to offer. As you see on the screen, we have 4 different boxes, all that include 5 electives for each one of those boxes. We started taking pre-registrations a few weeks ago, and we've sold close to 200 boxes so far. So it's an exciting opportunity for our scouts and their families to still participate in advance while at home during the summer. You don't have to be a Cub Scout to get one, which is the greatest part about it. You can be of age 5 to 11. These are great summertime activities. So don't focus on the fact that it's Cub Scouts. While being as a Cub Scout, you get the rank advancement for it. If you've got grandkids or friends or neighborhood kids that you might think would enjoy participating in some of these activities, they are welcome to purchase one of these boxes and be able to have some cool summer activities. All of the supplies that you need to do each one of these will be part of that box. And you will be able to work at it at your own pace. So it's going to be independent work with parents or family members as you have time or the opportunity. Also, each one of these boxes are going to include a day camp patch, as well as our Cub Scout day camp mug, as a recognition for these kiddos to working so hard to complete these electives. They will be available for pickup on June the 15th at any local scout shops, the office, or we can ship it for an additional fee. I apologize. It looks like the Bear Goes Fishing is on there twice. That is a Weeblos, not a bear badge. That's my proofing error. I apologize. But we will be available the week of June 15th for that. The cost for these boxes are $55 if you pick them up. There'll be a small additional fee if you want it to ship to you, which we're happy to do so. We can also get them to your district executive or any of the local scout shops in the West, Indiana, or here in Louisville. You can also use your camp card money for these. That's been a question that we've gotten from a lot of folks. You can just follow the link on our council webpage that we'll put out for you guys. And then just don't pay. And then we'll send you a note talking about payment. And that's when you can let us know that you're going to be paying with your camp card funds. And we'll get that processed for you. That's not a problem. We want to make that as easy as we possibly can for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get, Sarah, I appreciate you owning my ear. We'll update. I obviously cut and pasted the bear requirements twice. The Weeblos, I promise you're not doing bear stuff. You know, those older guys would, not like us very much if that was the case, but it's all exciting stuff. We'll have it updated and send it out after this.
Yes, we will make sure we proof this a little bit better before we get it submitted out to you guys. So the next thing I'm super excited about, folks, we are making history, and we want you all to be a part of it. For the first time ever in the BSA, we had to make a decision that, quite frankly, Jason and I talked about it, we never thought in a million years we'd have to make, and that is to not host our summer camp program. I still get a little emotional when I talk about it because it's near and dear to my heart and has been for the last 17 years. But we wanted to make sure that we offered you and your scouts a program that they can not only use for advancement opportunities, but have fun with as well. We're going to run 4 of our virtual summer camp sessions. We're very excited about them. We have 32 merit badges that we're offering. We have experts in the field who are going to be a part of some of these calls and some of these videos that we're putting together. There's a base fee for this program of $100. And that $100 covers that session. There are some program fees associated with this. So if you decide to take basketry, for example, the kit is not included in that $100. So there'll be some small additional fees. All of those are listed in Tenteru when you go to register. It's also available on our website, so you can look at it kind of before you register and know what you're getting yourself into. 1 week before the camp starts, you will get a packet via email and or in the mail, depending on what merit badges you signed up for, with all the materials, information, classroom codes that you're going to need. You can also use your camp card money to pay for virtual summer camp as well. You just need to let us know that that's your plan, and we'll get you taken care of from that as well. Again, we want to make it as easy as possible on you guys, so just telling us you want to do it is all you've got to do, and we'll make it happen. The platform we're going to use for this virtual summer camp program, gotten a few questions about that as well, and that is Google Classroom. A lot of these kids are very familiar with Google Classroom and the platform that they've used for their school systems. So that's the same platform we're going to use for this program. They will have Zoom meetings that they get to attend, and they have some independent work that they're going to get to do both inside and outside, and they'll have that week to complete it in order to get the merit badge. The Zoom calls are going to be designed for verification that they're following along and doing the requirements needed for that merit badge in order to get it marked off as complete. Make sure to check the merit badge schedule before you sign up for any merit badges, because you don't want to have overlapping Zoom calls. So we make sure that we get the information we need from everybody. Another exciting thing we're going to offer is a camp trading post. You can't have camp without a trading post. Unfortunately, I can't send slushies to people as they order them, but I'm going to do my best to send a bunch of other cool stuff that they decide that they want to get through our camp trading posts, such as knives, pop sockets, water bottles, bandanas, fans. We got you covered. You want your camp swag? We're going to have it for you. We're also going to do a pre-order of a COVID t-shirt. It's going to be a limited edition that your scouts can order, all done online and ordered in advance so that we can make sure we get the right counts for folks. There will be a participation patch within these kits. So the only way for a scout to get a 2020 summer camp patch is going to be able to receive that for their collection is to register for our virtual summer camp program. We're also going to do a collector's edition, because what's summer camp without a cool patch? So we're going to do a cool collector Mylar patch that we're going to get out to folks to help support our scouting programs for everybody around. So be on the lookout for those links. It'll all be on the council webpage under Scout BSA Summer Camp Program and our virtual programs as well. So we're excited to offer these for our scouts and their families. There is no playbook for this, so I'm certain that as we go through things, we may get some questions that we need to circle back with or look at it a little differently, but we'll definitely work through it together, and we'll make sure that this is a great experience for all of the scouts. It is best to register individually versus as a troop. That way, we felt like because troops weren't meeting that much right now, that maybe it'd be easier for parents to register individually. If you're a scoutmaster, I encourage you to kind of work with your families to make sure that they're getting signed up for good merit badges. And myself, I'm happy to help too, to fit the ranks and the requirements that they're going to need moving forward for those badges. So we look forward to having you guys, and we look forward to seeing everybody at our virtual summer camp program this year.
Awesome. And Sarah, just to clarify for folks too, you might have heard people talking about this over the weekend, or people that might have registered, and you're like, where is this registration info? Sarah made a strategic decision to give a nod to those that had already registered for camp a chance over the weekend up through today to go ahead and register. And many of them took that opportunity, but you're about to launch this out to the masses starting like now, right?
Yeah, so we gave priority registration for troops who were already committed and paid their deposits for our 2020 summer camp program. So come Tuesday, we're going to send this out to all of the families who participated, or all the families who are in Scout BSA. So basically every email we have will get it, unless they've opted out of our council email blasts, then they won't get it. But as long as they've kept in tune with that, they will. If I can jump on the Q&A real quick, couple of questions that came up.
I got some for you, Sarah. Is there a leader's guide with a list of merit badges available?
Yeah, so on our council webpage is the merit badge schedule, the list of merit badges, and soon to be the parent information guide on what to expect. Making the final edits on that here this week, and we'll have that up and available as soon as possible. But definitely on the website right now is the list of merit badges and is the Zoom schedule, so you can look to see where it overlaps and what would be good merit badges.
And those links will be a part of what you send out tomorrow too to everyone.
It will be, yes.
Right. Okay. Adventure boxes for Cub Scouts and virtual summer camp, are they for boy and girl troops? And
absolutely.
I can answer that. Of course they are.
Absolutely.
If a scout wishes to take one merit badge, can they get a discounted price instead of paying the full fee?
It's $100 whether you take one merit badge or 5 merit badges. It's just a matter of how busy that scout wants to be that week. And you can take multiple weeks. So if you wanted to earn 20 merit badges this summer, and you've got nothing to do but play Fortnite and stare at your sister all day, this might be an opportunity for you to really help boost your advancement opportunities. So
like
you can definitely take, yeah, I've got 2 kids of my own. But this is definitely an opportunity to really utilize our programs. Our summer camp staff, guys, we have picked, I'd say, the best of the best. I am so proud of our summer camp staff and how they have come together to make sure that this is the best program we can offer. We've pulled the best camp staff from Pfeffer and from Crooked Creek. They've spent the weekend and weeks and this week filming and preparing and putting syllabus and lesson plans together to really ensure a great program for your scouts.
So Brian, for the sake of time, I'd like to move on to your section, because I know you're going to answer a lot of folks' questions, unless there's something burning we need to answer right now before we.
A couple of quick questions.
I'll address them in the Q&A, Brian. That way you can keep going.
Okay. Well, one quick question I'm going to hit is anything for the first-year campers?
So we are doing, yes, so we aren't specifically focusing on any ranks, since the Scoutmasters have to sign off on all that stuff. But we are doing videos such as how to build a campfire, how to do knots, like different videos on knots. So we took pieces and parts of Tenderfoot first class and second class and put together some videos that they can watch that'll count towards those requirements.
Okay. Okay. One of the questions I saw was, will the camp properties be open for anybody? We have set up the camp properties, and thank you to the camp rangers who have been working very hard to prep the camps to get them ready to go. We were ready for summer camp, and now we're ready for family camping and unit camping. Beginning June the 15th, actually June the 18th, June the 18th is a Thursday. Camps will be available for use on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. 4 days a week. The other 3 days will give us a chance to cut grass, do some cleaning, do some prep work, and all those kinds of things. So starting June the 18th, units and families will be able to go to one of our 3 camp properties. They will need to go into the Tentaroo system and make those reservations. Families will need to create a login. I saw that question. And that will allow them to reserve a campsite. The way we're setting this up is individual campsites will be used. Some of those campsites may not be available. If family reserves an individual campsite, they will also be assigned a restroom facility in one of the shower houses so that we can maintain our distancing and maintain our low contact. For units that select a campsite, we will look at the numbers that they have in their unit and assign restroom facilities based on that. Keep in mind, our campsites have pit latrines in them, so obviously those are always available for use.
And Brian, I just want to And the updated PowerPoint we'll catch when we send it back out. We missed this bullet point from the original plan that had July 15th. It is
Right.
now June 15th as well for our unit den and patrol. So ignore that last bullet point there. It's obviously, we shared earlier in the meeting, June 15th. Don't want there to be any confusion. It is June 15th as well for those units, dens, patrols to camp.
That's right.
Yep.
Now, what you need to do is you need to understand that different states have different guidelines. And so Tunnel Mill Scout Reservation is obviously located in Charlestown, Indiana, and the state guidelines for a group size may be different than in the state of Kentucky, where Pfeffer Scout Reservation and the Harry S. Fraser Scout Reservation are located. So you need to understand that your group size may be limited for a few weeks. We want you to look at those guidelines and abide by those. Okay.
So we had some.
I see a question there about the
Yep.
waterfront. We are not going to have program opportunities available from a camp-wide view. We will have some unit opportunities available, to do their own thing. We may be making waterfront activities available as far as a unit being able to rent canoes, kayaks. Obviously, you would need to follow the safe swim defense and safety afloat guidelines like you would at any other time. Shooting sports ranges could be open with the proper certifications with NRA instructors. So we'll work through all of those individually.
Hey, Brian, then we'll jump to answering any and all questions here,
Sure.
and then we'll close out because we said we'll keep it around 45 minutes. But I wanted to share one quick slide, and then I'm going to stop sharing my PowerPoint because it's over. We have on our website, if you look at the LHCBSA.org/progression plan, and this is in the links of the communication we sent out. Not only do we have this plan that's fully updated with the June 15th updated dates, as well as the changes, the subtle changes and big changes that we made from the original plan that we shared tonight, but we have these resource links to meet those state guidelines as well as CDC guidelines up on that page right here on our website. And I encourage all of your unit leaders, it's a one-stop shop for all the states we cover as well as the CDC. And then as you could tell, even our plan might change in different spots. So go to these links as well as our page for any updates and changes. So I think we'll just move right along to any additional questions that we might not have covered tonight. I'll kind of help look through those. If y'all see some, we can jump on them.
One of the questions is, do we have a Tentaroo login? There is a step-by-step guide, literally screenshot to screenshot, to show you how to set up an account on Tentaroo if you don't already have one, as well as how to register your scout for virtual summer camp. Once we get the logins and the information set up for the family camp, we can do one for that too.
So I see a question. I think this is a good one because we did make some subtle changes with our plan with the dates, and you'll notice we still kept family camping as an option for families to come out. And we think it's important to support families that might not really feel comfortable stepping out of the realm into maybe they have an at-risk person at home or something of that nature. So family camping is still an option, because someone asked David Powell, said his household, does this mean we cannot camp as a unit? No, you can camp as a unit as long as all those families and everybody feels comfortable of basically following the guidelines and everything that we outlined here. But we're still going to provide our families an option to camp as a household in a strategic manner as well. Just looking through all the questions, folks, so bear with us, see if we haven't answered anything.
I saw one question was when will Tentaroo be available to accept reservations? It will open up later this week. Friday, June the 5th is our goal. So just keep your eyes and ears open, and we'll do everything we can to make the camps available.
Mike Kuhn just asked, sorry for calling you out, Mike, but I've known you a while. Virtual summer camp registration opens up tomorrow. If you're, the virtual summer camp opened up. They got those that were registered for camp got a sneak peek over the weekend, but Sarah's going to be blasting it out to the masses starting tomorrow. So
Yes,
thanks
so
for that
Friday
question.
it went out to the summer camp contact that was in Tentaroo. So on Friday they got that, and the request was for them to send it to their families because that was the only point of contact I had for those folks.
Can folks roll their summer camp fee that maybe they didn't get reimbursed for into the virtual fee?
Yes, if you have not received your refund check yet for summer camp and you would like to put some of that towards the virtual summer camp program, just let us know and we'll hold that back for you.
Seeing deposit question, yes, you could roll your deposit over into 2021. I think we've sent that information out. Do the scouts get the $50 off summer camp fee for selling 100 camp cards? Yes, we didn't specifically cover that. We covered it for the boxes, but the camp card 100, if you sell 100 camp cards, which, you know, these virtual online sales that we've been putting out has really caught on. We got some units that are really selling a lot of those, but yes, it will apply to Scout virtual camp. I've seen Sarah patches. We got a lot of patch fans. Go figure. So how can adult Scoutmasters get these patches? I'm imagining it's the virtual store you're opening up, Sarah?
So yes. So the youth will receive a patch for participating in the virtual summer camp program. But if an adult would like to purchase a patch, the only way for them to be able to do it is going to be through the virtual trading post. And don't forget, you'll have the option to get your special collector's edition, once in a lifetime opportunity.
So I think one question we had on unit size, you know, and the regulations. Since we cover 4 different states and there's so many different regulations out there, it would be tough for us to, I would not want to begin to accurately manage the regulations for all these meetings or campouts, other than telling you to follow your state and CDC guidelines. That's where we're giving you the link. Somebody had a question about, well, what unit size can actually go? We're going to ask you to follow your local state CDC guidelines for where your unit is chartered in terms of that type of activity. I think we're covering quite a few of these.
So David, if I can jump in real quick,
Yep.
a couple of questions regarding some of the virtual summer camp stuff. So the Google Classroom, the scouts who register for the merit badges, they will receive the classroom code for all of the folders that they need. And then they'll get a special code for a folder that's going to have some special videos, the ones for the first year camper stuff, as well as a special campfire we videoed, in addition to some experts and some other videos that we're going to put in there that these scouts will have access to as well. So that's not going to be a part of the merit badge folder that they see, but it will be a special folder set up for every scout who is registered for the virtual summer camp program. So they'll have access to them that way. If I can take a hot second about 2021 Jamboree, there's a couple of questions there about that. We are all go for 2021 Jamboree. We're recruiting still. For scouts who are interested, I encourage them to log on to the Jamboree website and register. Information on a council level will be out very shortly on a payment schedule, as well as setting up some prep hikes and some prep campouts. So still continue to plan and push for the 2021 National Jamboree. Our council is taking 3 troops and 1 venture patrol. So if anybody is interested, please let me know or go ahead and put in your application. Scholarships are only available till, I believe, the 30th of this month. So if scholarship is something that you're going to be looking for, you need to get that registration in fairly quickly so that we can make sure that we get you guys on that list. It's all part of the registration process. So when you go to register, it'll give you an option and ask you if you're looking for assistance via scholarship or campership.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in regards to like the requirements, you know, and what we're going to ask you to do, and we're setting you up as leaders to tell you to follow the state guidelines and CDC guidelines for unit gatherings, meetings, outings. You know, a basic question: should we wear masks for our meetings and outings? That's a valid question, but the answer is going to be if the requirements for 10 or more, 20 or more, pick the number, whatever that requirement is, and it says wear a mask and social distance, and you got to check all those boxes. I can tell you we didn't take the decision lightly in regards to summer camp, and you see where we are, but we're allowing our leaders to make informed decisions, keep all of our kids safe for these unit meetings. And it really starts with you as leaders, sitting down with your committee, looking at the requirements and making sure you're meeting all the requirements. This isn't necessarily meant to be a briefing on those requirements because we serve 64 counties, 4 different states. And that would be 4 different meetings if we were to try to brief you on all of that. So.
David, there is a couple additional questions regarding tenting and what we recommend for scouts, whether it be in the same tent or different tents. Did you or Brian want to address that? Or?
Yeah, actually, I just responded to that.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
That is and we'll answer it for everybody. When you do tenting, use good judgment, but you do not have to have an individual tent for every single person that's camping, okay? What the recommendations that we've seen from the CDC and the American Camping Association basically tell us to do head-to-foot type, I'm trying to hold up my hands here to give you a visual, I guess. A head-to-foot type of sleeping arrangement so that there is some distancing going on there. Obviously, if you're using some of our Adirondacks, which we have at Pfeffer and Fraser, you may have to go a little farther in distancing there, but use good judgment, and I think everybody will be okay.
I think one thing, obviously with this many people, there's a number of specific questions coming out, but for the sake of everyone's time, we'll be sending out some follow-up notes and of course these resource links for everyone. But I'm going to kick it over to Pat and John and Jason for any closing thoughts, and we'll make sure we send a solid communication out along with the updated PowerPoint for all of our participants. So Pat, John, Jason, I'm going to kick it to y'all to close us out.
Pat, you want to go first?
Sure. Just appreciate everybody being here tonight. Like I said, we had over 240 people on the line. We all know we do this for the love of the kids, but we want you guys to be safe. Take care of those kids. God bless and have a great evening.
Guys, not just as your VP of district operations, but for me personally, I'm grateful for how everyone has conducted themselves and really met the challenge of the day with the pandemic and other things going on in the world. And not only continue this program, learn some new video conferencing skills, probably learned a few other things about yourselves and about how to persevere through these kinds of challenges. Just so proud of all of you. And I'm excited that everybody's going to go out and celebrate my wedding anniversary on June 15th by going out there and doing day camping and overnight camping and unit meetings and all the great things that on June 15th we can all do. Guys, light at the end of the tunnel. We have persevered. Can't wait to see all of you in person and maybe even out in nature.
Well said, John. So you may be leaving the meeting saying, hey, what next? What do I do with this information? Well, go to our website. We're going to send you some stuff tomorrow. I know it's not perfect. It's got typos. Again, we've pivoted after pivoting to get to this point. And I want to thank John and our VP of program, Greg Sarter. I don't know if he's on the line here. So many volunteers and staff have worked on getting us to this point, and it'll continue to adapt. Again, continue to be patient with us because we're doing everything we can. The mission of the Boy Scouts of America through Cub Scouts and Scouts BSA and venturing and exploring is to deliver an experience that changes the lives of young people. And that happens best in the outdoors. So that's what's going to happen. So I think the action item I've got for you personally as a past camp director, an Eagle Scout, and the dad of a Scout, get these kids, get these families in the woods. Get them out doing something. Get them out learning, having a good time. Make sure as a leader you get this out to your families, you get this out to the kids so they know about these virtual opportunities. It's a good chance for a kid that's maybe a Star Scout or a Life Scout to get those few extra merit badges so it doesn't slow down his trail to Eagle or her trail to Eagle. So please do that. The Frontline Volunteer Program, I want to put in a plug for that. When we canceled camp, there was about 3,000 kids just at Scouts BSA camps that didn't get a program. Cub Scouts, about 1,000 kids. Huge program impact, but also a huge financial impact on both the units and the council. So if you're not participating in the Frontline Hero stuff, you need to. It's a no-brainer. As David says, it's free money. The unit gets 50%, the council gets 50% and administrates the program. And we help out some really great people that are doing a lot for us right now. John Fisher's wife is an ER nurse. She knows firsthand what it's like to be on the front lines. So thanks for your time. We could spend 2 hours here talking and looking at all the hypotheticals. If you have a crystal ball and you know what it's going to be like next week, next month, next year, I want you to bring that crystal ball to me. I'd be happy to look into it. But right now we ain't got one, but we're doing the best we can. That's the Cub Scout motto, do your best. And that's what we're doing. Thank you for doing your best. David, I'll kick it to you to close us out.
I just want to say thank you to all you adult volunteers out there that are on the call tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your the good work you will do to keep all of our kids safe as we move through these uncharted waters as an organization. And God bless you and have a good night. Thank you all for
Good,
helping with the
everybody.
meeting tonight.
See you guys.
Wrap it up.
Be safe.